Sometimes in life, people have questions. And a lot of times, those questions end up in my DMs. Now, I'm no Casey Neistat or Pleader McKinnon or anything like that, but I do get frequent DMs about camera-related stuff or video career-related stuff. And instead of me just turning everybody down or saying I don't have time, I think it'd be kind of cool to instead answer it within a video format, because it benefits me. But for real, it can be a little bit time-consuming to respond to each and every message, especially the ones that are very specific about camera equipment or stuff like that. So I think it'd be fun for us to have a cool way to connect where you guys actually ask questions and I respond to questions and we get to hang out for a little bit and I get to make a fun video. Win, 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 win. Let's get on to the first question. I think the best way for you guys to ask me questions is to just respond on this video. Then when I go to make a new Q&A video next week, I'll just look back at this video's comments to find some questions. You guys can DM me on Instagram as well, but it'll just be easier if we communicate through YouTube, because that's my jam. Tarkin on Instagram says, "Hi man, happy with all your latest successes on YouTube." Thank you, appreciate you. I've seen that you are using the Polar Pro variable ND with the Sigma 18-35 and XT4. You are very correct, that's exactly what we're running right now. I have the 6-9 stop on and we're just making sure we're not losing any highlights. We're at 8 right now on the variable ND and we're shooting at 1.8 because we can. I see that you mainly use the 2-5 stops, but since the base ISO jumps to 640 with F-Log, do you have any issues with that or do you still recommend the 6-9? Thanks in advance. If I can just give you a overall quick summary about the two different Polar Pro variable NDs, I think the 2-5 stop is the more flexible option. Really, the 6-9 is only important if you're shooting really wide open like 1.8 and it's really bright outside. The 2-5 is just a lot more flexible. You can use it in a lot more scenarios. You can still use it when it's really bright outside. You just have to stop your lens down a little bit. If I were you, I would go with the 2-5 stop, but again, it all depends on what you do with it. This is fun, this is good, this is great. Booty shot. Question number 2 is from Letty Sandoval on Instagram. Hello, how are you? I'm pretty good. It's loud and hot, but I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for asking. My younger sister has taken up photography and videography as a hobby recently, and now she wants to study photography as her major. I wanted to get her the best equipment as a gift. I was hoping you could recommend some good cameras. Price doesn't matter, LOL. Ballin', okay, cool, good for you. That last shot was very out of focus, I don't know. Thanks, Fuji. We'll see if this stays in focus, I guess. Your sister's taken up photography and video as a hobby and wants to study as her major. If I'm just being straight up blunt with you, I just don't see a reason to go to college for creative things, especially not camera things, because it's so easily accessible now and you can make money from it way sooner if you don't go to college. I went to college for 3.5 years before I dropped out. Yeah, I know that's stupid, but I started getting into photo video in college, and then I realized college was taking up all my time when I could have just been practicing my craft and getting better at photo and video. I eventually dropped out to pursue a life in creativity, and it worked for me, but that's because I put a lot of work and time into developing my skills. I mean, I don't want to speak for your sister, and I'm only a 26-year-old guy, I don't know everything, so I would just say, like, think about it a lot and make a decision that's good for you, but I think I would pass on school so you don't have to owe any money to the government. I guess it'd be different if you're going to school for free, but that way you could immediately start just practicing your craft and getting good at photo video, and then just start getting gigs and making money instead of going into so much debt, then starting and getting good, then making money, then paying off that debt with that money while probably working another job while you do that. You could kind of fast track that if you just put a lot of energy and effort into getting good first and then learning the business side of things, like getting gigs and making connections, all that kind of stuff. And then as far as like the equipment side of things, if she's like a very beginner, I would get her the Canon M50. I did a video on the Kinotika channel recently about that. My sister's just getting into photography and she got that camera and she's been like shooting weddings with it, like getting really good results. It shoots good raw photos, it shoots decent video. There are constant car accidents here in Nashville. People drive very aggressively, kind of sucks, but whoever is in an accident, I hope they're okay. Our last question is from someone named Suhas Samak. Hope I'm saying your name right. I'm planning to upgrade from my M50 to the XT4, but I found your videos very helpful. Thank you. I'm planning to buy the body with the 16-80 f4. How good is this lens when it comes to sharpness, and mainly, how good is autofocus? I have no idea, I've never used that lens. Secondly, should I ditch the 16-80 and buy a mount? It's a lot easier and you'll have a smaller setup if you just use Fuji lenses. Philip Bloom has an awesome video about a bunch of different Fuji lenses and the ones that are good with autofocus. Watch that. Or you could do what I do and use the Fringer adapter and use the Sigma 18-35 or some other lenses. It depends on what you want to do though. I just like bigger lenses for client work, but honestly, this 18-35 for vlogging is not ideal. It is so heavy, it's very long. The autofocus is fine. It's not amazing, but it's definitely usable. And lastly, I usually love to shoot B-rolls with a lot of in-camera transitions. So with IBIS on, will I still be able to do this efficiently? You could probably do that if you're doing like a smooth shot and then you just like whip for the next transition. But if you're like doing a lot of movement with your hands, IBIS will probably create some weird movements. I would probably turn IBIS off doing handheld stuff like that. Apart from this, the Sony a7 III and Canon R6 are my other options. I think the R5 and R6 are not worth it at all just because of those overheating issues. The reliability is way too much of a risk. The a7 III is also really solid, but I've done a comparison video between the XT4 and the a7 III. I like everything about the XT4 more than the a7 III. It's really loud out here, I'm sorry. All right, now I do have one question for you guys, and I'm serious about this. If I were to release a limited run of dad hats that said Cranon on them, how many of you would actually legitimately buy one? I wanna make it fair priced, but that's my question for you guys because I'm actually serious about this and I wanna start doing merch. Leave me questions for next week's Q&A in the comments, and also maybe tell me if you are interested in a dad hat like that and maybe what a fair price would be for you so I can see your guys' feedback. But this was really fun. I would love to do this every week if you guys want to, so let me know if you have questions, and yeah, I guess I'll just see you in the next one. Toodles.
Why did the chair cross the road? Because it didn't know how to walk.
Oh.
But it had a smiley on its butt.
That is...
I like it.
You're so sick.